Hello everybody, I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Pedro Ramos and I'll be getting you started on the oboe. Today we'll be going over properly assembling the instrument, hand positions, and of course getting our first beautiful sound. Now please stick around with the video and I hope you enjoy. Assembling the oboe should be rather simple, but we want to make sure that we are always focused when we are assembling our instrument, for two reasons. For one, the oboe can be rather expensive, and two, if we focus on having such dedication in something as small as assembling our instrument, then making music will be no problem at all. To make life easier, we are going to start with soaking our reed in lukewarm water. And when we are soaking our reed, we want to make sure that we are only soaking the cane portion of the reed. So let me put that there. And when it comes to opening your case might look different. We want to make sure that it is always facing the right way. So with my case, I'm just going to have to push these latches down. They always face downwards, and then I open it, and then there's my oboe. This part of the oboe is the bell. This part of the oboe where the reed goes in is the upper joint, and then this part of the oboe is the lower joint. Right here I have my cork grease, and right here I have my swab. We want to make sure that when we are assembling our oboe that our case is on a flat surface and never on our lap. As of right now, my oboe is on the ground, and the two pieces that I'm going to get are my bell and my lower joint. Now to start off with the assembly, if you have a bell key, I want you to hold that down. And with our lower joints, we are going to put our palm on the side that has no keys, right below the thumb rest. And with our thumb, we are going to hold down this key right here. Now, keeping all that in mind, we are going to assemble the bell and the lower joints. And we're going to do it with a gentle, very gentle motion so that we don't have much force and that our hands and our grip are not bending the keys. And if you look down here, you can see that that is connected. Now that the bell and the lower joint are connected, we are going to get to the upper joint. And of course, you want to make sure that you take off your caps so your corks are exposed. Now pay attention here too, because we're also going to be holding some more keys. So if you look at your lower joint, there are two bridge keys, these little fellows up here. And we want to make sure that when we're connecting our lower joint and our upper joint, that we want to make sure that those are raised. And the keys that you want to hold down to raise those bridge keys are this guy right here, and also this one right here. So we're going to keep that in mind when we're putting these two together. We're going to make sure that those are raised. Additionally, we're going to, let me switch hands here. We're going to make sure that we are using the side of the oboe that doesn't have any keys so that we're not putting a lot of pressure on the keys themselves so that they don't bend. And if you're having a little bit of trouble with putting the oboe together, you might want to put a little bit more cork grease. And of course, if you have any residue, you want to make sure that you take that away before you're assembling the oboe. Now that my oboe is assembled, there's one last thing to do. I'm going to get my reed out of the soak. I'm going to dry it out a little bit. And I'm going to put the reed on top of the oboe. And as before, I'm going to do a little twisting motion, but I'm also going to do a little bit of a push. And we're going to push it as far as we can. Now your oboe is assembled. Proper hand position when playing the oboe is very important, not just for agility, but also for comfort. Please grab both of your hands and place them on your knees. Please notice how relaxed and how comfortable they are, in addition to the spacing in between your fingers. Now we're going to maintain that shape and we're going to put it on the oboe. Of course, our left hand is going to go on the upper joint and our right hand is going to go on the lower joint, with that thumb being relaxed on the thumb rest. Now, if you look at my hand position right now, you can see that all my fingers are maintaining that curvature. Fingers 1 through 5. Lastly, about the thumb rest. The thumb rest is very important because it acts as a balancing point for the instrument. A lot of people might think that the thumb rest is used to maintain most of the weight of the instrument. However, most of the weight of the instrument is propelled by our arms and our shoulders. So our body anatomy is very important when we're holding the oboe. Although the oboe is light, we want to make sure that we're relaxed so we're not creating more tension than we need. So we're going to talk about embouchure. Now, to give a preface for this embouchure section of the video, I want to say a well-known saying about the oboe. The oboe is a wind instrument and not a face instrument. So remember, we want to make sure that we're using our musical intuitions to create our decisions when it comes to playing the oboe. That being said, what is an embouchure? An embouchure simply is just the connection between our voice and the instrument. For wind instruments, it's our lips. And if you've studied oboe embouchure, you know that oboe embouchure consists of 3 parts, forming an O shape with our mouth, very similar to a whistle, the rolling in of the lips, and firming up the corners of our mouth. Let's break this down. The first step in oboe embouchure formation is creating an O shape with your mouth. The reason why we want to create an O shape with our mouth is because this setup acts as a funnel for an efficient pathway for our air to go through the instrument. So let me demonstrate it for you. If you notice with my fingers, I was looking at some observations from my face. I noticed that I had 4 corners over here and I had a flat chin. Let me point those out for you once more. The second setup in oboe embouchure formation is the rolling in of the lips. The tricky part about this part is that when we roll in our lips, we want to make sure that our corners are always pointing forward and that they're not pointing back. A lot of new students, when they start playing the oboe, have a hard time maintaining that corner strength. So they tend to do a smile embouchure like this, where the corners are pointing back. So let's try creating that O shape with the corners pointing forward and then rolling in our lips. If you're having a hard time maintaining that corner strength, please practice in front of a mirror 60 seconds a day to get stronger. And for our last step, we're going to use our reed to demonstrate. The third and final step of our oboe embouchure setup is the firming of our corners. What this will ensure is to have more stability in our oboe playing. And of course, for our purposes with the reed right now, holding the reed in our setup without using our hands. So if I can demonstrate that for you. Let's do it together. Regarding putting the reed in our setup, we want to use about that much to anchor onto our bottom lip and then gently push it up so that the very tip is right behind our upper lip. Now with the setup, let's try it together. Remember, O shape, roll in the lips with making sure that the corners are pointing forward and then the firmness of the corners. If you're having a hard time keeping the reed inside your mouth, it is probably because of two reasons. The first reason is that you might not be firming your corners. The second reason is that you might want to start with a little bit more reed anchored on your bottom lip. Now let's try to make a sound with the reed. What our goal is that we want to make sure that we're able to, without our hands, create a steady tone. And for extra credit, the note that should come out is a C. Now that we have proper hand position and embouchure in mind, we are ready to play the first note on the oboe. What I want you to do is press down the first finger of your left and your right hand on the instrument. This should give you a C, and it should sound like. Let's try playing the C together. I'm going to give you 4 counts, and on count 4, we are going to take in a nice deep breath together and come in on the C on the downbeat. For the breath, try thinking about saying the word whoa. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We want to make sure that we are maintaining a nice, steady tone. Additionally, when we finish the note, we want to inhale. But also, we want to make sure that we're maintaining the strength of our embouchure until the very end of the note. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of the first steps of your new journey. I hope that you have happy practicing and that you learn to love the oboe. Bye.